All right, welcome back, everyone. You know why you're here right there. We all want to cut through all that noise and get to, what really matters. That's what we're all about here, those shortcuts to understanding stuff. And today, we're going deep, really deep, into something that kind of sets the tone for, like everything else, morning routines.
Absolutely. We've been looking at, different ways to make those first few hours really count. And we've been focusing on how using a journal, like a physical notebook, can be a surprisingly good strategy.
Yeah, totally. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. How to use a journal to make your mornings, well, awesome. The goal is for you to walk away with a solid grasp of like why it works and how to do it, but without feeling like you just sat through a boring lecture, right,
Hmm.
Day? And we've noticed that some tools, like Listallian journals, with their smart design, they really seem to fit this whole thing.
Okay, so first things first. Why is it so important how we start our day anyway?
So everything we've looked at points to this, like chain reaction. When you start your day with a purpose, a positive mindset, it seems to affect your focus and how you feel all day long. And the research suggests that journaling can really help create that clarity and make you more productive, like in a real way.
And it's not just about getting more things done, right? The stuff we've been reading also talks about the bigger picture of how it affects our well-being. A good morning routine, helped along by journaling, can actually make us mentally healthier and help us grow as people. It's about consciously choosing how you want your day to go and being proactive right from the start.
Think about it, those mornings when you just jump right into everything, answering emails, check notifications before you've even had a second to like breathe. It's easy to feel scattered and overwhelmed. And that's where journaling comes in. It's like an anchor, giving you a dedicated space to kind of regain control.
What's interesting is that a journal, just a simple notebook, gives you this structured but also calm space to sort through all the thoughts that might be bouncing around in your head. Instead of letting outside pressures control your focus, you have a place to organize your own thoughts, you
Yeah.
know? It's a way to clean up that mental clutter and reduce that feeling of being overloaded, which I think a lot of people struggle with, even you've mentioned it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And speaking of tools that are made for this kind of intentional morning routine, Listallian journals, they really stand out. They're not just some random pages bound together. They have all these features that seem perfect for making a routine that sticks and actually works. We've talked about them before in other deep dives, and they're always coming up as a popular choice.
Right. Take their 211 pages, for example. They're thick, 120 GSM ivory paper. That's a small detail, but it shows you they care about the quality of the writing experience. That heavy paper keeps ink from bleeding through, which is great if you use different pens or like to, draw or add little visuals in your journal. And that ivory color, it's easier on the eyes, especially in the morning when you're just waking up.
And that soft faux leather cover. It's not just about looking good, though it definitely does. It's also really durable, which is important for something you use every day. You can handle being tossed in your bag, everyday wear and tear. Makes it a reliable part of your routine.
And I think the built-in table of contents is super helpful. It might seem basic, but it helps keep things organized, especially if you're using your journal to track specific things like goals or reflections over time. You can quickly find old entries, which helps you see the bigger picture of your thoughts and how you've progressed.
It's exactly. No more flipping through pages forever trying to find something specific. And those 7.5 millimeter wide line pages, they strike a good balance. You have space to write, but it also encourages you to be concise, which can be helpful for people who want to capture everything, but don't want to feel pressured to fill every inch of space.
Mm.
Plus, they have dotted and dashed line versions too, for different styles. So visual thinkers, list makers, everyone can find what works for them.
Okay, so we've talked about how having a dedicated journal with like thoughtful features can be helpful, but let's get into the specifics of why daily morning journaling is such a good habit.
Yeah, it's more than just random thoughts, right? It's presented as a conscious act of mindfulness. The sources say making a habit of writing things down every day can make you way more productive because it forces you to decide what you want to achieve that day. And it helps you become more self-aware because you're constantly engaging with your thoughts and emotions on paper. It also brings emotional clarity because you have this safe, private space to process whatever you're feeling inside.
And it's a really powerful way to set goals intentionally. By writing down your objectives in the morning, you're basically making them more important in your mind. And you're more likely to stay focused on them throughout the day. The research also talks about the importance of gratitude. Starting your day by thinking about things you're thankful for can actually change your whole outlook.
Yeah, and it also emphasizes self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Taking that time to think about your priorities and essentially create a plan for your day can be hugely impactful. And for people who struggle with procrastination, morning journaling can be a way to ground yourself and stay focused on those action-oriented habits you want to build.
This reminds me of a coworker I had who used to feel totally lost in the mornings. They knew they had stuff to do, but they didn't have any real direction. They started doing this simple thing, spending 5 minutes each morning in their journal, just listing the three most important things they wanted to get done that day. It sounds almost too easy, but they said it made a huge difference in their focus and productivity. Just writing down their priorities gave them clarity and reduced that feeling of being overwhelmed by a million tasks. And by the end of the day, they felt a greater sense of accomplishment.
That's a perfect example of how a short, focused journaling session can have a big impact. And it really shows how a journal can affect our mental and emotional well-being.
Exactly. Writing down positive affirmations or even just listing things you're grateful for can help you start your day with a more positive mindset. And going back to those Listallian journals, the quality of the paper actually plays a role here, even if it seems small. When writing feels good, it makes the whole process more enjoyable, and you're more likely to keep doing it.
It's often those little details that make the biggest difference in forming long-lasting habits, right? So, what are some practical ways to make morning journaling effective and, something you'll actually stick with?
Well, the research suggests starting small, like 5 to 10 minutes each morning. That way it doesn't feel like a chore. And it's easier to fit into your routine, which helps you stay consistent. Using prompts, especially when you're first starting out or if you're feeling stuck, can be really helpful too. Places like the Listallian blog often have good journaling prompts to get you started.
Having those prompts ready to go can definitely make it easier to start. The research also recommends finding a dedicated space for your journaling. Creating a little ritual, even if it's just sitting in your favorite chair with a cup of coffee, can help reinforce the habit.
And it's important to take time to reflect regularly. Those numbered pages in Listallian journals are really useful for that. You can easily go back to old entries and see how your thoughts and insights have changed over time. And finally, be open to trying different things and find the journaling format that works best for you, whether that's free writing, structured lists, or something in between. Listallian journals have different page layouts, like dotted and dashed lines, which gives you the flexibility to experiment.
So if we sum up all the benefits of having a morning journaling routine, what are the main positive outcomes we can expect?
The research points to a few major benefits. First, there's that increased clarity and focus we talked about, being able to clear your mind and prioritize effectively. That naturally leads to better emotional regulation because you have a healthy way to process your feelings. Increased productivity is another direct result of setting intentions and staying focused. And it's interesting, a lot of people find that it can even boost their creativity because it gives them space for new ideas to come up in those quiet morning hours. And features like the built-in table of contents and that back pocket in Listallian journals where you can keep notes or inspiring things can further support those benefits by keeping you organized and making it easy to find important information.
That reminds me of a close friend who used to hate mornings. They felt so much pressure from all the things they had to do, and it would often make them feel stuck. They started using a Listallian journal, and just the act of writing down their to-do list each morning and breaking it down into smaller steps made a huge difference. They said that seeing everything on paper made it feel less overwhelming and more manageable. Plus, they really liked how the soft cover and the nice paper felt. It made journaling feel like a little treat, which encouraged them to stick with it.
That's a great example of how the physical qualities of a well-made journal can actually help you build a positive habit that you'll keep doing. So just to recap why a journal like the Listallian seems so good for morning routines, we have that durable faux leather cover for long-term use and that touch of elegance, the high-quality 120 GSM ivory paper for a smooth writing experience, the ample space provided by the 211 numbered pages, and the overall compact and stylish design that makes it easy to carry around.
And let's talk a little more about the psychological benefits, particularly when it comes to mental clarity. What are the main cognitive benefits of regular morning journaling?
Like we've discussed, it can improve mental health by giving you a structured way to deal with stress and anxiety. That improved focus we talked about comes from intentionally tuning out distractions and setting your priorities for the day. Tracking your goals in your journal makes you more accountable, and consistently practicing gratitude through writing can lead to a more positive mindset overall. And again, things like numbered pages for reviewing past reflections and even having a back pocket for inspirational reminders can help keep that positive momentum going.
So for someone who's thinking about adding journaling to their morning routine,
Sure.
what are the most important features they should look for in a journal, based on what we've talked about?
Based on everything we've learned, I'd say thick, high quality paper is super important for a good writing experience. Numbered pages and a table of contents are essential for organization and making reflection easier. A compact size makes it easy to handle and take with you. A durable and well designed cover adds to the experience and helps the journal last longer. And finally, having different page layouts, like dotted or dashed lines, gives you the flexibility to find what suits your journaling style. It's interesting how Listallian journals seem to have all of these key features.
All right, so let's say someone's convinced and ready to start. What are some concrete steps they can take to create their own morning journaling routine?
The first step, as we've learned from the research, is to choose the right journal. And a notebook like the Listallian, with all its thoughtful features, seems like a great option. After that, it's helpful to set a clear intention for what you want to get out of journaling. Start simple, maybe try using some of those journaling prompts we talked about. The most important thing is to be consistent, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. And lastly, make it a point to regularly look back at your old entries, using those numbered pages to track your progress and see what insights you've gained.
So to wrap things up, it really seems like a journal, especially one that's designed with a purpose and has useful features like the ones we see in Listallian journals, can be a surprisingly powerful way to transform those crucial morning hours.
Absolutely. It's about consciously shaping the start of your day in a way that sets a positive tone, not just for your productivity, but also for your overall well being and feeling of control.
And that brings us to our final thought for today. Think about how much of an impact it could have to intentionally structure even just those first few minutes of your day. How could making this small, consistent commitment change not only your mornings, but also the entire flow of your day? And maybe even more than that, what's one small thing you could do in your morning routine that could have the biggest positive impact on your life?